What if the most powerful woman in fashion almost lost everything, not to a rival, not to a scandal, but to her own former assistant? That's exactly what happens in The Devil Wears Prada 2. And the ending? It's way more layered than you'd expect from a fashion comedy sequel. So if you just watched it and you're sitting there going, wait, what just happened with Emily? And who is Sasha? And did Miranda actually win? Don't worry, I've got you. I'm breaking down the full ending of The Devil Wears Prada 2, what it all means, and why the final scene actually hits harder than anything in the original film. Let's get into it. 20 years have passed since Andy Sachs walked away from Runway and never looked back. And in those 2 decades, she actually became what she always wanted to be, a respected, award-winning investigative journalist. She did it. She made it out of the fashion world and built a real career in real journalism. But here's the gut punch that opens the movie. Andy and her entire newspaper team get laid off on the same day they're receiving awards for their work. The irony is brutal. Their parent company simply doesn't care about the quality of what they produce. It's all about the numbers. This moment is important because it's not just backstory. It plants the film's central question right from the start. Does good work still matter in a world that only sees spreadsheets? And it's what eventually pushes Andy back through Runway's doors out of necessity, not desire. So here's a situation at Runway when Andy returns. The magazine's longtime chairman, the man who kept things running with at least some sense of tradition, has died. And his son, Jay Ravitz, has stepped in to take over. Jay is everything Miranda despises wrapped in one person. He doesn't care about fashion, he doesn't care about art, and he definitely doesn't care about legacy. He sees Runway as a struggling print publication bleeding money, and his plan is simple: gut the staff, slash the budget, and flip it into something more digital-friendly. We're talking about a guy who would have Miranda Priestley flying coach. Think about that for a second. This is the villain of the movie, not a catty rival editor, not a scheming assistant. It's a tech bro with a balance sheet who sees culture as a liability. Now here's where it gets really interesting. Emily Charlton, who was Miranda's brittle, fabulous, always on the verge of collapse, first assistant in the original film, has reinvented herself. She's now a powerful senior executive at Dior. She's successful, she's confident, she's killing it, and when the crisis at Runway hits, Emily is brought in to help save the magazine alongside Andy. They even start to rebuild their old frenemy dynamic into something that looks almost like a real friendship. But Emily has been secretly working a different angle the whole time. She's using her relationship with her billionaire boyfriend, a guy named Benji Barnes, to position herself as the one who buys Runway out from under Jay. The plan is to come in as a white knight, save the magazine from the corporate machine, and then have Emily running it. With Benji's money behind her, it's a power move dressed up as loyalty. And it almost works. When Andy and Miranda find out, it reframes everything. All those moments of Emily being helpful, they were calculated. She wasn't saving Runway, she was positioning herself to own it. This betrayal lands harder than anything in the first film, because Emily isn't just a rival anymore. She was supposed to be on their side. Here's the thing about Miranda Priestley. She's not soft, she doesn't do vulnerability, she doesn't ask for help, but this movie forces her hand. For the first time, Miranda genuinely needs Andy not as an assistant fetching coffee, but as an equal with ideas, connections, and the moral clarity to see through the noise. And Andy, to her credit, steps up. She's not intimidated anymore. She pushes back on Miranda. She reminds her of how she's treated the people around her. She challenges her. And Miranda actually listens. It's a slow burn, but by the third act, watching these two finally operate as genuine allies is incredibly satisfying, especially if you loved the original film. Together, they come up with a counter move to stop Emily and Jay. Here's how they do it. Instead of trying to fight Benji's money head-on, Miranda and Andy go to Sasha, Benji's ex. A woman with her own substantial wealth and, crucially, a personal reason to not let Benji win. Sasha steps in and purchases Runway herself. It's elegant. It's ruthless. It's exactly the kind of move Miranda would make in her sleep. By going through Sasha, they accomplish 3 things at once. They take the magazine away from Jay, they block Emily and Benji's takeover plan, and they keep Miranda in her seat as editor-in-chief. Does Miranda lose Runway? No, but she comes dangerously close. And that near miss is what gives the ending its bite. For the first time, Miranda Priestley has to genuinely reckon with the possibility that she might be replaced, that her power isn't permanent, and that changes her just a little. Okay, let's talk about Nigel, because this is the scene people are going to be talking about. Nigel Kipling has been Miranda's art director for decades. He's brilliant, loyal, and perpetually underappreciated. And in the first film, Miranda betrayed him badly to protect her own position at a Paris fashion show. Nigel never really got his moment. In The Devil Wears Prada 2, it finally comes. While everything is chaotic in Milan, Emily's scheme is unraveling. Miranda is racing to deal with it. The Runway team still has a major fashion show to get through. Miranda has to give an important speech. She can't be there. Andy nudges her gently but clearly, reminding Miranda that maybe she's leaned on Nigel for years without ever truly acknowledging him. So Miranda asks Nigel to step in. To represent Runway on the global stage, it's a small gesture. But after everything Nigel has been through, it lands enormously. The audience gets the sense that Miranda understands what she owes him, and this is the beginning of making it right. And then comes the kicker. We find out it was Nigel who originally texted the old chairman to bring Andy back to Runway in the first place. He's been quietly orchestrating the solution from behind the scenes the whole time. Classic Nigel, so Miranda asks Nigel to step in, to represent Runway on the global stage. And what about Andy's personal life? She's got a new love interest, a charming Australian contractor named Peter. Their relationship hits a rough patch during all the Runway chaos, especially after Emily's deceptions bleed into Andy's personal world. But by the end of the film, Andy comes back from Milan with clarity. She tells Peter she wants to be imperfect together, which is a perfect line for where this character is now. She's not the wide-eyed 20-something chasing an impossible standard anymore. She's a woman in her 40s who knows that real life is messy, and that's okay. It's a small, quiet moment, but it's genuinely touching. The film ends with the Runway team back at work, building a new issue, chasing a new story, moving forward together. Miranda gives Andy her blessing to write a book about everything, which is a stunning move from a woman who once would have buried anyone who dared tell her story. It signals real change, real trust, and every single assistant in the film gets promoted. That last detail is not an accident. It's the film saying, the people at the bottom, the ones doing the work, the ones who care, they're the ones who should rise. The whole movie has been building to this idea that beauty, craft, journalism, and culture are worth fighting for. And only the people who truly believe that are fit to carry them forward. So does The Devil Wears Prada 2 stick the landing? I think it does. It's darker than the first film, more melancholy, and honestly more honest about the world we're living in right now. It's not just a fashion comedy. It's a movie about what happens when things we love, great journalism, great magazines, great art, get reduced to just numbers on a page. Miranda Priestley doesn't save Runway because she's fearsome. She saves it because she finds allies who actually believe in the same thing she does, and maybe that's the real message. Even the most powerful person in the room can't do it alone. Let me know in the comments, did you think Miranda deserved to keep Runway? Or should Emily have taken the crown? If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit subscribe. I've got more movie endings explained coming every week. See you in the next one.